to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 7, the penultimate episode of Bridgerton. We only have one more episode to go after this one, and then we have to wait for season 2. You know, time is such an interesting construct these days that that's basically going to be like tomorrow. So we're not even going to worry about it. Like, so much is going to happen that we're gonna blink and season 2 will be here. So let's just live in the moment while also kind of living in the past, because we've all already seen this show. Anyway, let's jump right in. So the Duke and Daphne are beefing hard, old school style. She's playing the hell out of whatever they call that piano forte, whatever. Sounds a little bit like an organ, but not quite. She playing the hell out of her music. He's shooting the hell out of, were they ducks? Birds? Whatever. They beefing old school style. He letting the chopper sing. She turning her music up and letting the Jeezy blast. That's an inside joke with me and one of my sisters. And they are just not in a good place because of this deception that happened in the last episode. Naturally, they're not going to go right back to being in marital bliss. Like, the honeymoon is over. So Daphne decides that she wants to move out of the bedroom, and he's like, absolutely not. And at first I was like, oh, he's not ready to let her go. It's just because he wanted to check to see if she gets her period. And you know what I also find really interesting too? How were all these women's periods coming in the night? Like, how and why were you like waking up and checking your bed first thing in the morning? Like, your period didn't just sometimes come in the middle of the day or something? How was it just so, anyway, whatever. I mean, I guess like it could happen whenever. So I guess why not check it in the morning? But it seems like the way that they do it is almost like clockwork, like everybody's comes in the night. Like, what kind of periods y'all had back in the Regency era? Anywho, but yeah, so the Duke just wants to know whether or not she's pregnant. And midway through this argument where they are beefing, Daphne gets news that the Bridgerton family is engulfed in a scandal per Marina Thompson's, you know, secret pregnancy and Colin, her brother. So they decide that they are going to go back to the town, to the town. Sorry, y'all told me what town means. They're going to go back to the town because Daphne feels like she needs to be with her family. And the Duke is like, you know, Daphne didn't want the Duke to come, but he was like, we can sleep separately, but we're not about to live separately. So it still seemed like there was just like this glimmer of hope, of connectivity there, like that they don't really want to let go of each other. But we, the audience, knows what the commitment is that he made to himself and to his father about a kid. And so I think it's more so devotion to the oath as opposed to disdain for her. We'll get to that. So Daphne is like, well, we going into big body bands because I don't want to be that close to you. So they get in town, and Daphne's mood is obviously really weird with regard to her family because she feels a way towards her mom for not being more honest with her about what sex is, about where babies come from, because she feels like if she'd known more and if she'd known better, she could have acted with better intentions and not had to do this roundabout thing, deceiving and tricking her husband basically, if she had just known more. But to her mom's defense, this was a different time. People, specifically women, just didn't talk about this kind of stuff. So I think her mom was only doing what she knew how to do. And I even have conversations with my mom now. My mom is in her 60s. I'm 33. And there are things that, you know, my grandmother didn't share with my mom, that my mom didn't share with me, but I am of a different generation. So, you know, when and if I get to have children, I will be more open with my kids about those things because we just live in a different time. But it just goes to show the effect that a lack of information can have on a woman's life, on people's lives, period. But when you're the one who has to carry a child, you know, I think you do need to be informed about what all this stuff means. So Daphne feels a way about Violet. The family is looking at Colin like, you goofy. And what's so interesting and also kind of sweet and also kind of sad, like Colin is such a sweet summer child. He genuinely still loves Marina, thinks that this is some sort of misunderstanding, really wants to talk to her, and everybody is like, absolutely not. I know you lying. You ain't going nowhere near that girl, because the way that things worked back during this time is like that scandal, her deception is going to reflect poorly on our family, and the rest of these people in this house still got to get married. So what you not gonna do? So I thought that was really interesting, especially because Anthony, being the oldest brother, you know, he has so much smoke for everyone else, but not necessarily for himself. And he gets called out about that quite a bit this episode, but we'll get there. The Featheringtons have obviously been shunned by the community. Like, don't nobody want to talk to them because, again, you associating with someone involved in a scandal will make that scandal rub off on you. So people are really not dealing with them. And to the extent that Lady Featherington, who we know is trash, is really trying to throw Marina under the bus, but also trying to find somewhere to put her. Like, even these homes that they used to have back then for, you know, wayward mothers, unwed mothers, or, you know, whatever, they were really hard to get into, because you really had to prove to these very pious women that you were worthy of their help. And in this case, they're like, well, if you can make a charitable donation, we'll take her. But we know the Featheringtons, they money ain't all the way together, because Lord Featherington is a trash ass bitch. So moving right along, y'all know, if you're new here, I have notes, trusty dusty notebook, old school spiral. That's how I keep up. There's a lot going on this episode. Let's see, where am I? So Daphne arranges for Marina and Colin to talk, because what I realized in this episode, on this second watch, there are similarities between Daphne's situation and Marina's situation. These are both two young women who, even though, like I said in a previous recap, Marina is a bit more worldly than Daphne is, but neither of them fully knew what they were getting themselves into when it comes to this romanticized version of love. So they both are kind of in these similar situations where Daphne may or may not have a baby, but she tricked her husband into finding out what was going on with him, so she may be with child. And Marina needs to find a husband because she had sex, not realizing that, oh, that's going to result in a baby. So I think that that's where Daphne's empathy for it comes from with her. And the thing is, Marina is just like, listen, y'all are not about to shame me. Y'all are not about to make me feel bad for, you know, doing what I have to do for myself and for my child. Like, I don't want to be destitute. What was really heartbreaking was that Colin was like, had you just come to me and told me the truth of your situation, I would have married you anyway. That had to be a dagger to the heart, because sometimes the cover-up is worse than the crime. But Marina has no way of knowing that. Like, it's 2021, okay? And I wouldn't even think that a modern man would be cool with that. Child, please. So, look, I feel you. The Queen has an event as per usual. You know, it's just function after function with these people. And everyone keeps wanting to know about, you know, is there going to be a Hastings heir? Daphne and the Duke are putting on a pretty good show for the people, you know, just kind of making it look like they're in a good place. And it has to be awkward, you know, everyone looking at you and just kind of knowing like, ooh, y'all done had so much sex. Awkward. The Queen is checking up on Eloise's progress with finding Lady Whistledown, blah, blah, blah. Lady Danbury, my good sis, invites Daphne to a ladies' luncheon, a ladies' dinner, which Daphne is expecting is going to be like really hoity-toity. We'll get there. The Featheringtons get kicked out of the party. Poor Penn, you know. Eloise got her back though. So let's see. Daphne goes to visit Marina by herself. And this is where they start to kind of have this, you really start to see this kind of understanding between the two of them and the similarities in their situations. And Marina tells Daphne, you know, how she came to be in the family way, and, you know, tells her about George, and, you know, Daphne really wants to help her, and it's like, you know, I'm a duchess, maybe I can figure something out, you know, whatever, which I think goes to show, like, Daphne really does have good intentions. Like, she seems to be a good person, and that she's kind of inserting herself in the life of this woman who is being, you know, publicly shamed, and she really wants to help her to find her baby daddy, which I think is very noble. Lord Featherington propositions my good boo Will and tells him that he should throw the fight so that they can split the winnings, because, you know, as we know from previous episode, my previous recap, Will is looking for investors because he wants to showcase his talents as a boxer, and he needs Simon to kind of vouch for him, because during this time, any man who worked like a legit job of any kind, you were not a gentleman. Gentlemen don't work. Lords and stuff don't work. They owe money. They don't have to do nothing but manage the money. They don't have to actually work for it. So Lord Featherington, with his broke ass, is telling Will that no one is going to, you know, a bunch of gentlemen aren't going to take you seriously and invest in you, so you may as well just go for the sure thing. I'll, you know, make a really big wager on you that you're going to lose, and then we'll split the winnings. And, you know, we see Will really, you know, take this into consideration. We see what happens with that later. We'll get there in the next episode. So the ladies' night ends up being a den of iniquities. My kind of carrying on. This is giving Marie Antoinette. It's giving casino night. The girls are cutting loose and having a good time. And what I liked about this is that, number one, Lady Danbury just gets it. I adore her and her cane. I read somewhere that she intentionally wanted a cane to be her accessory because she was widowed, but she still wanted to have some sort of a masculine presence or influence or whatever, like in the way that she carried herself, given that, you know, her partner's no longer alive. So Daphne gets also, she really gets some insight into the way people's marriages work. Like, some people, you know, a lot of these ladies are like, girl, I'm just here to spend his money. I get it, okay? If you are with somebody who makes that kind of money and they can provide a level of comfort and luxury for you, the likes of which none of us will ever see, and you'll know where that man is, I kind of understand it. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying that is what I desire. I'm just saying that I get it and I like it. City girl energy, okay? So Daphne actually befriends the general's wife to get some information about Marina's baby daddy, which, again, very noble. Daphne is out here making moves, you know, on behalf of, you know, her neighbor. I don't want to say homegirl. Girl, she know, her associate, acquaintance. When she gets home that night, her and Simon have been kind of like two strangers passing in the night, but they have, you know, this moment, and like basically Simon will not have sex with her, and they're doing this back and forth where one is like, well, I'm not dealing with you either, and the other is like, well, neither am I. And then, you know, that same one comes back and it's like, oh, well, I kind of want it, you know, they're going back and forth, and that stressed me out, that scene. I was just like, sure. So Anthony and the Duke at their little clubhouse for boys, they come to blows because Anthony can tell that something is up with his sister, and Simon is like, mind your business, because you're not even doing what you're supposed to be doing as the firstborn son. So worry about yourself. Don't come over here in my marriage. Like, your sister ain't, you know, all you think she is, but she gonna be straight. Who you got to take care of? So they go back and forth, taking blows at each other's daddies. Like, damn, both of y'all daddies dead. And they come to blows like dudes do. Like, my God. So Daphne that night ends up tending to his wounds. He doesn't, you know, admit that he got them from her brother. And the Duke finally has to confess, like, what is the deal with, like, you and this, you know, why are you so adamant that you don't want to have a baby with me? And I forgot that Daphne still doesn't fully know why he doesn't want to do this. We've been privy to this information since like episode 2. So he finally comes out and says it. And Daphne is like, I know you lying. You putting us through all of this shit because of a promise you made to somebody on their deathbed. Like, that man dead. Like, and to her point, you wounded him already. Like, he's dead. He doesn't need, you don't need to say or do anything else to harm him. Like, you said it and he died. You don't actually have to keep up with that lie because life has changed. You have met someone. You now want a family. Like, we see how you look at Will's family. Like, you don't have to uphold this deathbed promise that you made to this man. Like, and so Daphne is like, are we going to be miserable together or happy apart? And what a shit place to be in, where they were both just so in love. It was all good just a week ago. I don't like how Marina was so dismissive of Daphne's efforts, because she's like, well, if the Duke didn't sign the letter, then this doesn't count. And my thing with Marina is like, bitch, people are trying to help you. You need to be grateful for whatever help people are willing to give you. And she gets progressively more annoying, you know, well into the season finale. I started to not see it for Marina a while ago, and I told you guys this, but this really frustrated me that this girl is like really going out of her way to try to help fix a situation that you actually got yourself in. You tried to deceive her brother, which we understand why, but she don't really owe you shit, and she's trying to help you, and for you to be like, girl, thank you, but that ain't gonna do shit. It's like, okay, well, you and your baby go to Skid Row then, like, over her. Violet ends up changing her tune regarding Eloise's coming out. She kind of you can tell that she feels a way about not preparing Daphne enough for the world. So she's telling Eloise, like, girl, if you're not ready, don't let me, you know, push you into this. And let me just say, Eloise, her look, 'twas good. 'Twas up to par. I was happy with it. But Eloise is only going to this function because she wants to kiki with the queen. So at the function, Benedict runs into Lord Granville and is really trying to get an understanding of how his marriage works. You know, Benedict has been raised in a very specific kind of way to believe a very specific kind of thing about love and marriage. And he's actually being kind of judgy, but at the same time, this is the life that you want. Like, get into it. So Benedict and Eloise end up leaving the function, you know, because they're the two kids who kind of don't really want to go along with tradition. Eloise leaves because she finds out that the queen is actually like plotting to take Lady Whistledown out. Like, she's like, I don't even need your stale information. It's not really helping anybody at this point. Like, you know, I done figured out a way to take her out on my own, which Eloise doesn't want to do. She's like, girl, that's not why I signed on to help. Like, I didn't know you was trying to kill homegirl. So, meanwhile, Marina is trying to concoct some sort of an abortion potion and ends up taking herself out the game. So she passes out. Penn finds her. Benedict goes and picks up Madame Delacroix while Eloise is in the car. And this starts to pique Eloise's curiosity that maybe it's actually Madame Delacroix who is Lady Whistledown. And everyone goes to this opera where Antony sees City Girl Sienna with her new benefactor and moving on with her life. Good for you, City Girl Sienna. And for a brief moment, it looks like Simon and Daphne may be coming to a good place. And Simon holds her hand, and just then you can tell, ladies, y'all know when you get the moment where you know that your period has come. She runs to the bathroom. Lo and behold, her period has come. Violet comes in to comfort her, and that's where we leave off. One more episode to go, guys. Drop down the comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Are y'all as over Marina as I am? Am I being unfair to her? Because I just feel like, girl, you need to be taking whatever help you can get and whatever people are trying to do for you. Be gracious, because no one owes you anything. You know what it is? She comes off as entitled. Let me know if you guys agree. Drop down the comments. And be sure to subscribe and like and share and all the good things. If you like what you heard in this video, become a patron of mine on Patreon. Link is in the episode description. Sorry, I took a bit of a week off, so I'm kind of off with my signing off call to actions. But I will see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.